Welcome to another episode of A Peek Behind the Lines. I am Tiana Speter, and for today's episode, I am joined by a very special guest, fresh off the announcement that the band will be returning to Australia for their biggest ever headline tour here this October. I am joined today by Bullet For My Valentine's very own Matt Tuck. Matt, thank you for having a chat, and how are you today?
Oh, thanks for having me. I'm very good, thank you. Good to speak to you. Good to be here, and yeah, happy to be coming back.
Yay. Well, things in Australia are especially awesome. And not just because Bullet for My Valentine are heading down here, you're also going to be bringing some very special guests with While She Sleeps and The Devil Wears Prada. But the
Yeah,
tour is also celebrating a significant milestone for Bullet for My Valentine and your journey, notably, of course, the 20th anniversary of the release of The Poison. So, on that topic, can we momentarily go back 20 years briefly and step into the making of The Poison? Did you guys know from day one what you wanted this album to be?
yeah. I mean, we were very hungry, very motivated, ambitious young men. We had no intention to get into this business unless it was to be the best band in the world. It was as simple as that. So we went in there with the intentions of being just that. Um, Obviously, that was bold, and it was never going to happen. But I think we made a good dent with that statement, and created something which has stood the test of time. Um, was part of something that sparked an entire new generation and movement of heavy metal. And yeah, and here we are 20 years later celebrating that fact. And, I guess a lot of people kind of find it a special moment for them as well because of, just the last 6 months of touring it everywhere. And it's just been a massive success. And it's just been incredible, just to take a step back into time, revisit where we come from, who we are, what we created, why we're here. And yeah, like those moments come and go. You're always moving on to the next thing. You don't really get a chance to kind of take that moment to look back. But I think, being a 20-year anniversary and how significant that album was, not just in our lives, but in millions of people's lives around the world, it really was a moment for us and for heavy metal music across the planet. We were definitely part of something which was big and special. And yeah, I think it deserves a moment in the spotlight again.
I absolutely agree. Going back to that 2005 year, which crazily feels like it's forever ago and not that long ago at the same time. It's kind of a weird,
Yes, yes.
it's like a weird one. We won't touch on that. But can you kind of capture, like, were you guys able to actually enjoy it? Because obviously, firmly, you came into it from day one knowing what you wanted to do. You wanted to do something pretty
Mhm.
important and special. I dare say the way it resonated and all the accolades that came from it, it definitely was successful. But were you able to actually
Yeah.
take everything in at the time? Like once you finally, because there's always that gap between finishing an album, finally releasing it. Like once it was finally out in the world, I don't want to say you got something off your back, but you kind of got to actually gift it to the world. Were you able to
Yeah.
take that in and really embrace that?
We kind of, but we were so young and inexperienced and naive to the business and to what touring was and all this stuff. We were more along for the ride than in the moment. Um, it just went from 0 to 100 like that. There was no kind of in between. We'd set ourselves up with a 5-track EP about a year before the release, and there was all these grumblings and there was a vibe and a hype happening. And then when the poison dropped, it just went ballistic, not just in the UK, which is where we thought it would kind of start and then trickle into Europe, and it just went everywhere.
Yeah.
So we were just along for the ride. We loved it. We were having the best time ever, best time of our lives. We finally felt like we'd achieved our, childhood dreams, but there was no kind of living in the moment really and taking stock of what was actually happening because it was just chaos. It was going from tour to support. We would be on another support, and then we'd have a call from a manager saying, "Oh, Iron Maiden want you to go to North America. Do you want to go?" I'm like, sure. And then in North America, we'd be like, "Okay, Guns N' Roses want you to do the arena tour. Do you want to do?" It's like, "Okay, cool." And it was just mad. And we were just holding on tight and just we weren't thinking, we were just doing.
Yeah.
Um, which was great, but like I said, like all of a sudden it was gone, and then it was like, okay, album two, and then obviously it just that's how it works. You keep going. So I think having this moment to reflect on that moment has been good for us. It's created a hunger, it's created a fresh perspective of how lucky we are and how proud we are of what we achieved and what we created. And we want to celebrate that with the fans who were not only there back in the day, who would probably want to be there for this special event, but for fans that weren't even born when it came out, and it's
Yeah.
still their gateway album into other bands now. Which happens all the time. I hear it all the time at shows. So yeah, it's been a wild, crazy ride, and you know, long may it continue.
Yeah, absolutely. Here. And I think a really interesting factor of all of that is, like you said, you have people who were there in 2005 buying the album, listening to the album,
Mhm.
consuming the album, being obsessed with it. Then you get the next wave that, because it's been like continually something that people have kind of come to or stumbled upon. And now you've got these shows that kind of opens it up to generations. But more interestingly, is like 2005, social media was kind of kicking around, but all that stuff, like we were still really in those pre-hectic, like everyone online, everyone promoting everyone, like this is like organic discovery of that
Yeah,
band,
yeah.
like that kind of
Yeah, this was
blows me out as
pure word
well.
of mouth, and yeah, like it was kind of old school print magazines and word of mouth, and it was just kind of like spreading across the planet, you know, like slowly but surely. And it was, like you said, a very organic, natural way of your band blowing up around the world. Like, you know, not that it's easier to do it these days. You still got to have the chops and
Yes.
still create good music, but you know, social media and the internet and all these platforms, YouTube, to get your you know, it's far easier to kind of get people to see and hear you when when we were sending out demos before the EP and the Poison, we were literally going to letterboxes with cassette tapes. That's the only way you could get like record execs or managers or promoters to hear your music. You just had to knock on the door and go, "Here you go." Like, it's wild, you know.
Yeah.
So, and I wouldn't have changed it for the world, you know, because it was such the end of an era.
Yeah.
Um, and it was beautiful, you know. And it is kind of a fairy tale story. The Bullet story is it's a fairy tale. Maybe it'll be a movie one day, who knows? But
Yeah.
um, yeah, it was cool, man. And a lot of people, the younger generation, they won't understand that, you know. But seeing people that weren't born at the shows recently, at the Poison shows, and you can see how much it means to them. Like 19, 20, and all the way down to like 9, 10 years old, just like loving it there with their mums and dads or grandparents, and all wearing like Poison t-shirts. It's just
Uh,
wild. We've become a generational band. It's like,
yeah.
wow, never expected that to be a thing.
That's like enough alone with what happened like immediately in the aftermath of releasing the album. And then you fast forward to now, like that is genuine pinch me shit. Like that's
Yeah.
absolutely incredible. I'm blown away
Yeah,
by it.
that's what I'm most proud. I'm proud of everything we've ever done. But I think this moment right now, like having the longevity that we've had and all the ups and downs, but still here, I think, I'm so proud of me and the boys for sticking it out through all the hard times as well as the good times, and our fan base for being with us and just being so loyal and cool to us from day one. And we still seem to be gathering a load of people along the way that, like I said, weren't born when the band first created, but we're their band. It's like it's just beautiful, man. I love it. It's just such an amazing feeling.
Yeah, it really is beautiful. And I guess it's interesting too, like playing these kind of shows because people kind of know what to expect, but you're obviously playing a few other things as well with it. But have you noticed, like, is there a different vibe in the crowd on different nights? Like, because you're playing this album, everyone's going to have like personal favorites and different favorites. Like, do people kind of flock to specific songs and really react to it? Or is it a little bit of a chameleon each night when you're playing this album start to finish?
No, I mean, song by song, it's just, I'm not just saying this, every song feels like it's everyone's favorite song.
I love that.
Um, yeah, and like the vibe in the room, it's not like your traditional kind of heavy metal show. There's all the chaos happening in the pits and the crowd, all that stuff is still happening. But there's like, and I've never felt it more than I did at the O2 in London, which was the final UK show we did. Um, it was just like euphoric. I can't explain it. It was just there was just people like arms stretched, just like tears running down their face, like hugging and kissing, just like it's like a celebration, a euphoric celebration, because they were obviously reliving something
Yeah.
that, like,
Now,
like a youth or a moment in their life, like, and they were there with like every fiber of their being was just back in that moment, and it was just like, oh, that's what this is about. It's beautiful.
that's incredible. It's almost like those flow moments, and it's so amazing that you are able to experience that simultaneously with the fans as well, because it just means everything that happened in the recording studio, everything that happened all those years ago, it's re-giving, it's giving on and overflowing into this
Hmm.
experience. And we get to
Yeah,
have that in Australia in a couple of months. So talk me through that quickly before we wrap up today. Performing your biggest headline
yeah.
shows here, you've got arenas lined up. It feels like it's going to be a very fitting celebration, but how excited are you to A, get back to Australia, but also get to revisit the Poison and some other special Bullet for My
Mhm.
Valentine songs as well?
Yeah, we're glad we could make it happen. There was for a while we didn't think it was going to happen. With recording commitments we've got coming up as of next week. and through till whenever it's finished. You know, we don't have a timeline. We want to get it done by Christmas, and hopefully we do. If we don't, no big deal. But we just didn't think it was going to happen. And then another opportunity came up recently, which we kind of agreed to, and we're like, okay, this gives us the green light to go to Oz now. It's in a certain part of the world. It's not announced yet, so I can't say, but it's in a certain part of the world, which is not too far away from you guys. So we're like, right, whilst we're there, let's do this, you know. And we managed to get in contact with Chris and get the availability with the venues, which is not an easy thing to do either. Such late notice, you know, it's really not hard, especially with this other event going on. We wanted to tie it on, but we managed to make it happen. And yeah, so like it's like, yeah, let's go. You know, we're super excited, man. You know, we love Australia, man. It's like it's always like a second home when we're there. We love the people, we love the place, we love the environment, we love the fans, and yeah, I can't wait to. I'm really glad that we got the opportunity to do it. You know,
I
and we
love
know
it.
it's going to make a lot of people happy, including ourselves. So
Yeah, well, it feels like such a special experience that we all get to share with you. And finally, to close us out, like I know you touched on loving Australia. I know we've touched on seeing all the amazing ages and demographics in the crowds, but what is your favorite thing about Australian crowds when you have performed for them in the past? Like, do we stand out? Are we different? Are we similar? Like, how do we fit in the Bullet for My Valentine fan base?
it's pretty. You know, we're really lucky that the fan base across the planet is pretty on point everywhere we go. Australia is no different. It's just energy and like a like a warmth. You know what I mean? Like we just feel like we belong and we're welcome every time we come. You know, if I feel like we've got a lot of things in common with Australian people, and you know, it's just nice. We've got the same sense of humor. There's no bullshit attitude. We say it how it is. And yeah, it's just somewhere we can land. We can fly all the way across the planet, land, and it just feels like we're home with our friends instantly. You know, and yeah, it's I hope that people are stoked that we're coming. And yeah, let's have a good time. You know, it's never going to happen again, so let's make the most of it. You know,
Definitely. Well, we are so glad the stars did align. We absolutely cannot wait to celebrate the poison with you and just celebrating having Bullet for My Valentine back in Australia in general. An absolute treat for everyone.
cool.
Cannot wait to have you here. Hopefully, the plane ride is not too hectic, but you've done it before. You'll be all over it. And we can't wait to see you
We'll
back
be
on
fine.
Australian stages.
Yeah, no, thank you so much. We look forward to it. Can't wait to be back. We'll see you in October.
Yay.
Wicked. Thank you.